Just noticing all of this ground elder that I have to pull out of this mountainous rock. Today we are going to be working out in the back garden. Sorry about the camera work at this point. I heard my husband sawing. I dropped the camera and ran out to see what he was cutting because I had no idea what his plans were at this point. Oh good, it just looks like photinia and bamboo. Scared me for a second because he didn't tell me that he was taking these down today. But we do want the bamboo and the photinia down. I don't know if you can see that brush pile, but that brush pile is from one photinia. These are Chinese photinia, and they're just way too big. They're planted in the wrong spots. They are blocking out light. They're touching our house. They're touching the neighbor's house. So they just need to come down. And my husband's going to take out the second one. So two will be down today. However, I will not be recording him taking them down because it's not like a tree. It's not a few cuts and then it comes crashing down. There's several branches in these things and it takes a long time and it's not exciting. There's the first load of cleanup that's going. The Chinese photinia. And half of that's sticking out. They're going to have to strap that up a little better. So now it's a cleanup day and we are taking our first load of yard waste to the recycling dump place. This is the first of probably about, I'm guessing, 4 loads that are going to need to go. This whole load is just those 2 Chinese photinia. A trail of evidence. I don't know how many of y'all remember when we cut down the cryptomeria shrubs. Well, now we are finally getting rid of it all. Yay! It's been hidden behind things. This is our third load of yard waste that's going out. This is my brother Ryan. He is the next oldest after me, and it's him and his 2 boys helping me today. My nephews are getting old. Makes me feel old. They're no longer little kids anymore. And I do pay my nephews for their work and help with our yard work and garden waste. They used to work on the farm as well. But I'm not paying Ryan. Sorry, Ryan. I guess that's the price you pay for being my brother. So we did a thing today. I'll show you in a second when we get home. So while we rented this truck to get rid of all the yard waste, we decided we would go ahead and buy a couple yards of soil. Nice soil. And my favorite part,
drag it.
I think I can.
A couple more inches. Got it.
Okay. That was fun. Not. Okay.
You're close to where you want.
While we had that truck, we got some yards of dirt and this weeping cherry tree. That we changed plans. We're not moving the big trees from the front back here. We wanted a weeping cherry tree and we will just find another home for the trees out front. But that's gonna look so pretty. Okay, so this is where we settled on. I think it's gonna look good. It's gonna look good. So over here is where we were hiding all of the cryptomeria and a whole bunch of arborvitae branches. My husband topped off a lot of the arborvitae and took out the arborvitae on our side of the borderline because we have to put up this fence to keep our dogs in the yard. But mostly now it's just we got to rake and clean it up, the smaller pieces, which will be fine. It ended up being a whole lot cheaper to rent that truck and pay my nephews than it would have been to hire landscapers. And over here was where we were hiding all of the cedar branches up against the house. So now that that is all gone, we can start doing more work in this yard. And I am loving that cherry tree. Keeping these locust trees are still up for debate. Yes, folks, that's right. We're back again. Picked up this little rhododendron. And the reason why I said, yep, we're there again, because I think we've gone to Bauman's 3 times in this last week. Um, we picked up that first rhododendron, then we decided we wanted another one because we liked it so much. And they were also having a sale on some bleeding heart, some white alba. So we picked up 4 of those, and then plus another 2 pink bleeding hearts. So it's dangerous living only 7 minutes away from Bauman's, I'm telling you. So we are going to place the 4 white bleeding hearts directly in between these azaleas, but behind them. Does that make sense? So like they're a second row, but they're behind the azaleas, but in between, so you can kind of see them all at once. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just rearranging those. I'm probably off camera deciding what else to do with my husband. So what we were talking about is getting an Empress Woo. Those are those ginormous hostas, and putting it to the left of that maple tree, to the right of the cedar tree, directly behind the white alba there. So now my husband has decided to limb up some of the trees and take out a few of the bottom branches. Just one. This tree is leaning forward, so we're trying to just take a little pressure off of it so it won't lean so much, and then take off some of the other branches so that there is a little bit more room for these bleeding hearts and the ferns that we are finally going to plant. Unfortunately, I did not think about moving the plants before he started pruning, and it broke a few of the stems off one of the bleeding hearts. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just moving them out of the way so that my husband does not break any more stems off of the bleeding hearts. But this will allow for sunlight, a little bit of sunlight, to grow. Most of these are all shady plants. They need shade. The bleeding hearts, azaleas like partial shade, ferns like heavy shade. So, but these, they do need a little bit of sunlight. So we are just limbing the branches off so that they can get a tiny bit of sunlight back here. It's still going to be a really shady spot. Yeah, we have a lot more planting space now.
Yep.
Now we'll get some sort of sun, hopefully. So while we are picking up pruning debris, I plant the bleeding heart, my husband plants the ferns, and then I fertilize the azaleas. I hope you enjoy this song by a group called The Soundlings, which has a similar Weezer-esque like quality to them. Hopefully that song wasn't too rocky for you. Sometimes I just get in the mood for some rock. But that was more of an ode to my younger brothers who really love the band Weezer. What we're doing now is adding some rocks to these planters. These planters we had moved from over behind the back patio, which you will probably see in a couple weeks of this backyard kind of work. It's not really a makeover, as it's going to be continuing to be a lot of work. But the drainage in these planters were so bad. The smaller cypress that were in them had root rot. So we are adding rocks before we add the dirt so that hopefully these rhododendron won't be sitting in water and get root rot. And if it doesn't work with these, then I think we might just have to end up tossing these planters out. But they're so heavy. We wouldn't be able to put them in the garbage can. They're way over the 50-pound limit. But first, before we plant those rhododendron, let's take a moment to enjoy these azaleas that are in full bloom at the moment. Oh, they look so good. And the amazing thing about these azaleas is we pulled them from the front yard. And at first I didn't want them because I was thinking, oh, I don't like azaleas that much. They only bloom for a couple weeks and then they're done. And let's just get rid of them. I actually threw away 2 of them and put them in the garbage can. But at the last minute, I decided to take them back out and replanted them. But it's only been 2 months since they've been planted, so I'm just impressed that they're blooming at all. A couple of them were a little bit smushed, but they'll grow back out. Anyway, I had to take a moment to enjoy the azaleas and the fact that I almost ended their life, and I'm really glad I didn't. So this is the rhododendron question. There are 2 of them, and as you can tell, it's a healthy plant. It just got done blooming, and I haven't taken off the dead blooms yet. So it's gonna look really pretty. Let me see if I can find a picture of what it looked like before the blooms were done. So hopefully you can picture in your mind of what the bush looks like while we're planting it. Can you read me the name of the tag, the name of the plant?
Pink snowflake rhododendron.
Pink snowflake. Okay.
Yeah.
And this gets 2 feet tall by 2 feet
Yeah,
wide.
it's a mini. It's a mini. It's a mini.
Okay. So while he finished up the second rhododendron, I looked over and saw the neighbor gardening out in her pink robe, bending over and doing something, which is, 2 peas in a pod. I thought, oh, great, we'll get along. I garden in my robe too. Well, turns out it wasn't the neighbor, it was just a cover over furniture. We are going to take this hydrangea, it's macrophylla, so it needs macrophylla. It needs a shady spot, and this is shady most of the day here. It gets some sun, but it should do well here. Right where he's drilling is where we're going to put it.
The thing's heavy. Easy.
Oh,
One thing about it, with that many roots, it was definitely happy.
right? Yeah, I wouldn't have thought the roots went all the way down to the bottom. We pulled some off when he pulled it out, but not too much. Sadly, upon moving this hydrangea from the front yard to the backyard, we did end up cracking this beautiful terracotta pot. But I will probably end up using it for some sort of fairy garden project. This hydrangea is the last plant we will be putting in today. It is from Monrovia. We actually won it at a hydrangea class at Bellman Farms in spring of 2024. I believe it's from the Seaside collection. I think it's the Kitty Hawk. It's blue. I'll show you when it blooms in the summer. If you enjoyed watching us work in the back garden today, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. We'll be coming back in a couple weeks to do more. Next week, we'll be showing our annual haul, including all of the Proven Winners annuals that we got. Thanks for watching, and until next time, feed the pollinators for me.